Is that you? What are we doing, my dear, my dear? I surrender you myself, myself. My hands are in the air. Only time will tell the difference, man. What is the reason you do not have your peace of mind? Are you having fun or are you doing this thing to survive? Are you taking the pictures of every memories of your life? What's the reason why we're still out here?
Don't get it mixed up. You are listening to Today95.1 FM, your premium talk, news, and sports station in Port Harcourt. We are the voice of the people.
Right. Put me on, please.
You make me go to back, party, 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 back, party, back, party, party. You make me go to back, party, 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 back, my body electric. You make me go fast, close.
Right.
Party, back, party, back, party, party. You make me go to back, party, 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 back, party, back, I'm crazy.
Shaka.
You know got no limit.
Right.
Man's got no limit.
Right.
You know got no limit. Everybody know you got no limit. When I'm gonna come, them feel it. Man's got no limit. Look got no limit. Look at style, me, I got no limit. I feel good and I feel so nice and the boy so fabulous. Stepping on the place, everybody them knows and the boy so dangerous. Tell them where them would them be. Where them, red and they. When you turn your radio and you on your TV, now my face when I must make me go to back, party, 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 party. You make me go to back, party, 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 my body electric. Make me go fast, close. Party, 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 party. You make me go to back, party, 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 I'm crazy. Chilo got no limit. Man's got no limit.
Right.
Chilo got no limit. Everybody know me, I got no limit.
Okay.
Whenever me come, them feel it.
Right.
Man's got no limit. Chilo got no limit. Chilo got style, me, I got no limit.
Sako.
Ado. I no get your time, call me anti-social. Check my style, you go know say my McLaren no Toyota. All of my guys, them are feeling me from Joburg down to the Lake. All the money when I get for my lifetime, I swear I don't know these doors. Make me go to back, party, 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 party. You make me go to back, party, 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 my body electric. You make me go fast, close. Party, 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 party. You make me go to back, party, 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 I'm crazy.
Shaka.
Chilo got no limit.
Right.
Man's got no limit.
Right.
Chilo got no limit. Everybody know me, I got no limit. Whenever me come, them feel it. Man's got no limit. Chilo got no limit. Chilo got style, me, I got no limit. Killer.
It's Kelpie Vibes.
Jump so cute, I'm gonna jump so cute. All my people they go jump so cute. Boss man, you go jump so cute. When the bed do they enter body, all the girl them go shake their body. They go shake their body. Oluwabona mo gbona belly. Say mo gbona belly. You know the money you take up police. Me, I they love you, Connie. Say I take grace and no number, but I just spray you the money on your mouth. You supposed to know, say me not be newcomer. So my baby make you no go dollar, no go dollar. When the bed they enter body, all the girl them go shake their body. They go shake their body. Oh, do I wanna go no felly? They won't go no felly. You know the money you take up police. Me and they love you, Connie. As I they sing, they feel the pulse. Look at the people jump around. Make you they listen well because I know the shot. No joking around. Oh, look, da, da, da. Look, da, da, da. See some picking with the para with the gaga. Kilo shall I ba. When the bed they enter body, enter body. And the girl them go shake their body, they go shake their body. Oh, you have an go now, fellow. Go now. You get money, you take up police. Baby, they love you, Connie.
understand anymore. Everything no day like it day before. And I know you're working from 9 to 4. I go to take that, now you never come. Cause somebody be trying to take all of me from me. Man, I don't know what to think. Make I no go popo, remix if I blow. But I no go let go. I lay on my 10 toes, forever go settle. No go let the devil call up be my happiness. And that's some G for me. I see they call you honey, but you know picking my call no more. You know they picking my call no more. No more, don't you pick it with my heart. I've been calling you, calling you, calling you, calling you. You know they pick up. You know they pick up. No more, don't you pick it with my heart. I've been calling you, calling you, calling you, calling you. You know they pick up. If I ever did you wrong, check him out. Cause I know if it take this pain anymore. Go got to shit for me, it they get to me. Need my mental health very strong. What you want? Tell me what do you want? I've been dreaming for 2 months, but I still no hear no compliment. For me if I blow, but I no go let go. I did on my 10 toes, forever we go settle. No go let the devil call up be my happiness. And that's some G for me. I see they call you honey, but you know they pick your call. No more, don't you play games with my heart. I've been calling you, calling you, calling you, calling you. You know they pick up. You know they pick up. No more, don't you play games with my heart. I've been calling you, calling you, calling you, calling you. You know they pick up.
It's Kelpie vibes.
Party never start till I enter the place. You know, say action for gang. I come with the vibe, man. I don't mean to steal the show, baby. Go one level. Line up information, but someone when you're my or a man knows in person. I know write this song, make you sit down the loop. You better shake your body, yeah. Love my cool love, yeah. You know I don't want stress, yeah. Love my cool love, yeah. You know I don't want stress. Oh yeah, so much to make a bad eye. Sure you know I got the stamina. Motaleno, motason. When I pull up in a camera, what's it going on while my baby, oh. African lady, oh. I don't mind, you can spend my money, oh. Found some at the loud, treat your body, yeah. Love my cool love, yeah. You know I don't want stress, yeah. Love my cool love, yeah. You know I don't want stress. Party never start till I enter the place. You know, say I should go, yo. I come with the vibe, man. I don't mean to steal the show, baby. Go and level. Line up information, but someone when you're my or a man no same person. I know write this song, make you sit down the look. You better shake your body, yeah. Love my cool love, yeah. You know I don't want stress, yeah. Love my cool love, yeah. You know I don't want stress.
Don't get it mixed up. You are listening to Today 95.1 FM, your premium talk, news, and sports station in Port Harcourt. We are the voice of the people.
Charlie, I come. Sometimes I put a move away, maybe a month, more or less, more yawa. Less people power. Same shit, Ghana, Niger, man tire. Stuck in traffic and they hate delay. Big man get the motorcade. Big Benz and the Escalade. Also just the Escalade. But March 6 we go celebrate. Every year be the same cock and book. Propaganda, you they push, no they poop. You they pain, people tired for this matter. Every day for teeth man, one day for myself. If you mean to me, or man to say, you need a timo. Ashimi. It's mean to me, Fimo.
They wanna tell you. Another story. Since 1960, then they play us wild. Then we go they cry forevermore. You dey bring me gaga, you dey bring me gaga, you dey bring me gaga, you dey bring you gaga. Walu we dey bring me gaga, you dey bring me gaga, you dey bring you gaga, you dey bring me gaga, gaga.
Calling me the sugar where they are tea, calling me the honey where they are bee. Anything you tell me, I they believe her. Showing me around like I lost my way, telling all your friends and I me be bail. Baby, see me, I don't they believe her. Tell me, make I know now. If you show me, make I know now. If you don't show me, make I know now. If you don't love me, tell me, make I know now. If you show me, make I know now. If you don't show me, oh, make I know now. If you don't love me, make you not talk, say you love me, oh. Aye. If you don't need me, oh, nobody talk, say you need me, oh. I take this love more seriously, oh. Baby, you're making no play me, oh. Nobody talk, say you love me, oh. Don't play me. Calling me the sun where they bright your day, calling me the joy where they crash your pain. Anything you talk, baby, I they believe, oh. Nobody they agree to that toast me again. When they wanna come, you they block their way. Everybody don't stop me with you, oh. Tell me, make I know now. If you show me, make I know now. If you don't show me, oh, make I know now. Tell me, make I know now. If you show me, make I know now. If you don't show me, oh, make I know now. If you don't love me, make you don't talk, say you love me, oh. Aye. If you don't need me, oh, nobody talk, say you need me, oh. I take this love more seriously, oh. Baby, you're making no play me,
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Okay, all right. All you need to know about this one is that
95.1 FM? Such a unique dial.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
This is what we've waited for. The showdown. The fastest men in the world.
Hearts racing.
One light, two lights. They're backing off and backing.
Pulse rising.
Who will come out on top? Who'll take 3 lights, 4. Who's ready to be the star?
The anticipation.
Powerful, strong. Tyson gets rolled all the way.
The heart stops. Catch the sports game on Sports Attack, Mondays through Fridays, 6:30 a.m. And today's Sport Live, 3 to 4 p.m. And also on the weekends, 1 to 6 p.m. Only on your premium sports radio. Today, 95.
All right, this is Today 95.1 FM. Mr. Uchendu, good afternoon.
Maxwell.
Yes, what's going on?
Okay, Maxwell, we are at Obiapo now, especially the community of the Minister of Federal Capital Territory. Maxwell, as I speak to you, I just took cover. There's a sporadic shooting. As I speak to you, I can confirm to you that one person has been caught by bullet, stray bullet. The sporadic shooting that's going on there is something that anybody, in fact, I have to run for my dear life. The shooting there is seriously ongoing. Remember, the police is not part of this thing, but they will signal them to come for a response to calm down the situation.
Were you able to recognize those who were shooting?
I think those who are shooting from our gathering are those who are against the conduct of the local government election. But I can't get the picture of one person that I know, but I know they are young men. They are not police. They are not putting on a uniform. They're like hoodlums. They just storm that place and then shooting to show that there is no election in the area. Before we arrived here, there has been this complaint that people have been coming that there shouldn't be any election in this place. That's within Obiapo. But before then, I left Roma Hollow, where most people are complaining that there is no material sent to that place. And from what I saw, voters are there, but they were telling us that they are about to commence before we left. But after when we left, they complained there. There has not been any material anyway. But as we leave, we also got an information that the material is yet to arrive in that particular place, Roma Hollow. And some other political party are complaining that they are suspecting that the PP party has hijacked the materials there. But we don't want to believe that. They still have time. They are within the time that the material can actually come for election. So, but for Rome Precom, the home of the minister, the shooting is still on.
Okay. In Rume Precom, are we looking at Wimpy Junction or where the flyover is or Chinda area? Where precisely?
Within there is a street, Wicked Street.
Yes.
In that particular place. I don't know if you're familiar with that place. That particular place is that within that road. Almost all the units are clustered there. That's exactly where the shooting is taking place. So I have to take cover as well.
So others also ran away.
To give you this report.
So other people also ran away.
Maxwell, when you hear the gunshot, you expecting that everybody should put on bulletproof? People ran away. Even those electoral officers also ran away. As I said.
The person you said was shot, you know, is the person dead or?
No, not yet confirmed dead. But it's 3 bullets hit the person. Blood was rushing, so they have to take the person away. They just rushed the person to the hospital now. But undisclosed hospital, we don't know the hospital as we speak. But they just rushed the person. I saw the blood actually spilling on the floor.
So as we're talking now, is the shooting still ongoing?
Ongoing.
But I can't hear any bullet sound.
But as I said, it has reduced.
Okay, it has reduced. Because I was expecting to be hearing po now from the...
I have to go a distance before making this call.
Okay. All right.
Yes, Master.
Please stay safe, Stay safe. Thank you very much, Uchendo.
Master.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
All right. All you need to know about this one is that
95.1 FM. Such a unique style.
95.1 FM. Voice of the people.
And we're back.
This is what we've waited for. The showdown. The fastest men in the world.
Hearts racing.
1 light, 2 light. They're backing off and backing.
Pulse rising.
Who will come out on top? Who'll take 3 lights, 4. Who's ready to be the star?
The anticipation.
Powerful, strong. Tyson Gale rolled all the way.
The heart stops. Catch the sports game on Sports Attack Mondays through Fridays, 6:30 a.m. and Today Sport Live, 3 to 4 p.m. and also on the weekends, 1 to 6 p.m. Only on your premium sports radio. Today, 95.1 FM.
My name is Gianni Infantino, FIFA president. For the best of sports, always listen to Today Sports Live on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Hello, my name is Kanu Wanko, aka Papilo. For the latest and trending sports stories, always listen to Today Sports Live on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Well, hello and good evening. Good afternoon, beg your pardon, to you all lovely listeners, and welcome to today's Sports Live on your premium talk news and sports radio station, Today 95.1 FM. You are listening to the voice of Henry Gubo here with you on another Saturday to actually get to give you the marathon edition of this show. Yes, should have been starting by 1, but due to election updates, we are starting by now, and we will be here till 6. But intermittently, we will be giving, or the newsroom will actually be here, or Lucky Maxwell will actually be here to actually give you election updates as regards what's happening as regards the local government elections currently going on in Rivers State. Hope you are safe wherever you are, and you are exercising your fundamental rights for those who wish to exercise their rights. Well, this is today's Sports Live. It's time for us to talk about sports and not politics, and I'm not in the studio alone, as I've got the guys here with me, and I'll introduce them just in a bit. But let's not forget that it is a show where we get to talk about everything sports, football most precisely. Today we will delve into European football before we get to bring you Nigerian football today. Now let me introduce the guys in the studio, and I'll start off with Osas, demigod in the world of sports. Osas, good afternoon and welcome.
A very good afternoon to you, Henry, and a beautiful afternoon to my colleagues right here in the studio. Good afternoon, Port Harcourt. It's pretty calm day in Port Harcourt. Yes, let me use that. It's pretty calm in Port Harcourt.
Calm and rainy.
Calm and rainy, yes, because coming from my angle of Port Harcourt, there was no noise, no automobile sounds, everyone indoors on the streets, just trying to get to one or two places to exercise their rights as citizens of Nigeria that's voting in the local government election. I overheard Maxwell's communication with Ichendu as he stated that some things are happening right there in town, but over here it's pretty quiet, and we're happy it is.
Definitely, it is pretty quiet over here, and hope you are safe and you are doing well wherever you are. I also have Benjamin Mina with me in the studio. Benjamin, good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon to you, Henry. Good afternoon to the guys in the studio. Good afternoon to our lovely listeners out there. It's good to, leave the election issues and talk about sports, especially. Looking out for games, Liverpool currently winning 1-0 away from home at Selhurst Park. There, a goal from Diogo Jota, an assist from Cody Gakpo. And we're looking up to the 3 o'clock fixtures where we've got Arsenal, a couple of games coming on, Manchester City. It's one of those weekends where we have to just leave the stress of the week and then just relax, watch football and enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely we are going to watch football and enjoy it, and relieve the stress of the weekend. Liverpool currently leading by a goal to nothing against Crystal Palace. Diogo Jota with that goal, like Benjamin actually let you people in on. And we also have Ovie Wallace in the studio as well. Ovie, good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon, Harry. Good afternoon to my colleagues in the studio. Good afternoon, Port Harcourt. I hope everybody's safe with the election that's going on. We're hearing the news here and there, but it's time to talk about sports and try a way we can turn our attention away from what's happening and talk about what's pressing on our TV. Liverpool up against Crystal Palace. 1 goal to nothing, Liverpool lead, and you have to just say that Arne Slot has been doing a fine job since he came. He might just sweep the rug from under Pep Guardiola's and Arteta's feet, who knows.
So yeah, can Arne Slot actually do it? Is the league title that people were looking at Manchester City and Arsenal before the season did start? But we look at it now, 7 games into the season, and it looks like Liverpool have 18 points out of possible 21, and which will guarantee them top spots going into the international break. Yes, after this weekend, we will have the international window, so there will be no club football next weekend or from next week, but it will return after next week. But before it does return, it's about the international break. But before we get to the international break, it's all about what is going to happen this weekend. Well, let's not forget that the show is interactive and not complete without you. You are the major reasons why we are here. We have the feedback platforms for you to actually get through to us. For the SMS and WhatsApp portal, number is 0701 933 9962. 0701 933 9962. Well, we also have the phone lines, and the numbers are 0817 0000951, 0817 0000951, and 0810 9510951, 0810 9510951. Phone lines will be open in due time for you to call in and air your thoughts. But on that note, I say take a seat, fasten your seatbelt, and let's get this show on the road. Well, before we do get into the action or into the take of the action, let's give you the weekend review. Number one stop to actually knowing or getting to know what actually transpired as regards major sporting events around the world. So this is the week in review.
Good afternoon, sports fans. My name is Gift Ejegu, and this is the Week in Review, the segment where we bring to you the major happenings in the world of sports during the outgone week.
Amazing, can this be real? It's like I'm living a dream.
We start with Monday, which wasn't the bestest of days in the world of sports, with injuries and legends leaving our beautiful sports. To kick off the bad day, we start with tennis, where Britain's Jack Draper withdrew from the Shanghai Masters after he sustained an injury at the Japan Open on Sunday. Draper had treatment on the abdominal issues during his quarterfinal against Francis Ugo Humbert and ultimately retired from the match. And now to basketball, NBA Hall of Famer Dikembe Mutombo died from brain cancer at the age of 58. The 8-time NBA All-Star who retired in 2009 spent 18 years playing in the league for Denver Nuggets, Atlanta Hawks, Philadelphia 76ers, New Jersey Nets, New York Knicks, and Houston Rockets. And you can't close out on Monday without happenings in the world of football, where Antoine Griezmann, which happens to be France's forward, announced his retirement from international football. The Atletico Madrid player, who's 33, made 137 appearances for his country, scoring 44 goals and helped them win the 2018 World Cup. And that does it for Monday. And on Tuesday, the atmosphere didn't get any better for some sportsmen as we start with Cameroon, where Cameroonian Football Federation FACAFOOT's president Samuel Eto'o received a 6-month ban from attending any international matches involving the Central African country by a FIFA's disciplinary panel. The former Barcelona and Chelsea striker was sanctioned following breaches of 2 articles of the world governing body's disciplinary code. The ban was issued in connection with Under-20 Women's World Cup last 16 games between Cameroon and Brazil on the 11th of September. And now to Manchester United, where United captain Bruno Fernandes avoided a ban after the club successfully appealed against his red card on Sunday's loss to Tottenham. The 30-year-old was shown a straight red card for a foul on Spurs midfielder James Maddison and would have faced 3-match suspension for serious foul play. However, Manchester United successfully argued that the decision to send him was off and was wrong, and Fernandes will now be available for his side's forthcoming Premier League fixtures against Aston Villa and Brentford, including West Ham as well. And the Champions League made a return with its new formats on match day 2, where the team that made the headline was Arsenal after their 2-0 win against Paris Saint-Germain, while the top clubs in Europe won their matches as expected of them, with Barcelona thrashing Young Boys 5-0. Inter Milan's 4 goals better than Crevena Zvezda, and Dortmund having the biggest scoreline of the day after pouring 7 into back of the net of the Scottish champions Celtic. And now we leave Tuesday and step into the midweek. We start off with tennis, where Carlos Alcaraz came from a set down to edge out world number 1 Yannick Sinner in a dramatic China Open final. Alcaraz, who's 21, continued his fine run up from against the Italian and had 2 each of their last 3 encounters after coming through 6-7, 6-8, 6-4, 7-6 and 7-3 to claim his 4th ATP Tour title this year and 16 of his career. And now on to football, where Senegal decided to part ways with coach Aliou Cisse, who led them to the African Cup of Nations triumph in 2022 and past 2 World Cup tournaments. The initiative came from the Senegal Sports Minister Kadi Dieng Gaye, according to the local football association, citing the government's request not to renew his contract. And now to Arsenal's former Arsenal goalkeeper Wayek Szczesny joined Barcelona until the end of the season, just over a month after he retired. And Champions League made return with its new league formation during match day 2. It could also be called the night of upset, as starting the day was Aston Villa, who pulled off a win over German giants Bayern Munich. 1-0 was the scoreline by the end of the night. Later that night, Atletico de Madrid followed the trend after losing to Portuguese club Benfica with a scoreline of 4 for the home side, while the away side walked with nothing. But the biggest upset of the night had to be the defeat of the defending champions Real Madrid and the hands of French club Lille. Though the scoreline ended 1-0, the Spanish Giants had a very disappointing performance. And that's all that transpired in the midweek. Now on to Thursday, and this time table tennis make an appearance into the bulletin as Haruna Quadri and world number 1 Wang Chuqin were eliminated from the men's singles at China, smashed 2024 after losing their respective round of 32 games. Haruna Quadri, who is ranked 19 in the world, fell 3-1, 11-4, 6-11, 11-8 and 11-9 to Swedish Anton Kjellberg, who occupied 5 ranks lower than the Nigerian in the ranking. And now we move from the table tennis now to tennis itself, where Coco Gauff advanced to the semi-finals of the China Open for the 2nd consecutive year after coming from behind to beat Yulia Stadrusevia. The 4th seed lost the first set of the quarterfinal but fought back to beat the Ukrainian qualifier 2-6, 6-2, 6-2. She now faces 15th seed Paula Badosa in the semi-final. And now let's turn our attention to football, starting with the Super Falcons forward Chinonyerim McLeans completed the move to Saudi club Al Shabab. McLeans moved to Al Shabab from Russian outfit Lokomotiv Moscow. As the UEFA Nations League approaches, we saw some stars dropped and some making a return to national teams during the outgone weeks. And to our surprise, the person dropped was Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe, who was left out of the France squad for their upcoming UEFA Nations League matches despite returning from injury during the week. The Real Madrid forward missed the 1-1 draw at Atletico Madrid on Sunday with a thigh injury, but came off the bench during a surprise 1-0 defeat by Lille in the Champions League on Wednesday. And to England national team, where we saw the return of Dominic Solanke after he received a call-up to England squad after his performance in the game with Tottenham against Man U. And that's what I made the major stories on Thursday now to Friday. While many Nigerians may not like this man, Antonio Conte won the Serie A's Manager of the Month of September, and Napoli sits at top of the Serie A table at the moment. That's the full package. My name is Gift Ejiogu, and I'm saying have a blessed weekend and enjoy the rest of the show. Bye for now.
It's like I'm living a dream, but it's how everyone feels. We celebrate with one thing, so let's
95.1 FM, Voice of the People.
And we're back.
Yes, welcome back. That was it as regards the week in review. Yes, your number one stop, or We'll actually give you what actually transpired or major sporting events that transpired during the outgone week. Now let's head straight into what we have for you on the menu this afternoon. Now we all know in football there are certain records or certain things that have actually happened over the years. Some will say you never thought possible. Some will say these are things that probably might never be done again. I mean, we all remember when Manchester United won 3 Premier League titles in a row. We all felt could never be done again. Pep says hi. I mean, 3 Champions League trophies in a row. Nobody thought about it ever happening again. So now let's bring out some of these things that actually have happened in football and ask ourselves, do you think they can be broken? Do you think it's something that will never be broken? Do you think it's something that all of us here sitting down talking, or even those of you listening, will actually see in your lifetime that it will actually be broken? Now, we're talking about 13 Premier League titles. Manchester United, we all know about that record. We're talking about Jose Mourinho's 9-year unbeaten run at home. The fact that Zinedine Zidane won 3 Champions League trophies in a row in the current era of the Champions League since it began in 1992. We're talking about the fact that Pep Guardiola won 4 straight Premier League titles. We're talking about the fact that Xabi Alonso was 51 games unbeaten in all competitions, at least before Atalanta struck on our own Ademola Lookman. And most UCL wins and UCL titles, Carlo Ancelotti. 5 UEFA Champions League titles for Carlo Ancelotti. Now, you're looking at these records and everything that, all these things that have been set, and you ask yourself, oof, that looks like a nasty fall from Costas Tsimikas.
When it comes to Tsimikas,
That's a nasty fall. Now, you look at all these records I've actually mentioned, guys, and you ask yourself, first, let me come over to yours first. First, do you think any of these records can be broken? And, I mean, which of these do you even consider even a record that is too steep, or you feel this is not a record, somebody can come later on eventually, even within our lifetime, and probably break it?
All right, first of all, looking at records, yes, records can be broken, because one reason why records are set is because records were broken. Yes, if a record is being set, it's because it broke another record that was set before it. So every record has the tendency of being broken. It depends on how much you can push for it. So I think it's something that should motivate. It's something that should kind of push your inner strength when it has to do with you being on the path to break a particular record. So every record that you've mentioned at this point in time can be broken. It depends on the mindset. It depends on the enthusiasm of those involved in that path of that record. So to set the record straight, records can actually be broken. That's exactly how it is. Then for me, looking at the ones that you've called, you talked about Alex Ferguson, 13 Premier League titles, Jose Mourinho, 9 years unbeaten at home. There is also Zinedine Zidane with 3 back-to-back UEFA Champions League titles. You've got Pep Guardiola with 4 times winning the English Premier League back-to-back. There is a 51-game unbeaten run for Xavi Alonso with Bayer Leverkusen. There is also the most UEFA Champions League wins, as well as the most UEFA Champions League titles for the Don Carlo himself, Carlo Ancelotti. There, 5 it is. So, but for me, I think I will go for the Jose Mourinho's 9-year home unbeaten run. That is one record that would take ages to be broken. It's one record that would have to throw you into the interstellar or throw you into the galacticos to come back and see how to break it, because it's difficult in present day football for you to run through on a home 100 records for even a year. It's very difficult for you to go through one full year unbeaten at home because of maybe what would I blame it on? Technology right now into football. Also, the kind of training routines that we have, so many rules in football. It's very difficult for you to keep that home run going forward. So I think for me, every other one is achievable. But you see this 9-year unbeaten run set by Jose Mourinho, that should be with Chelsea. It's going to be a difficult one to break, because it's more or less like impossible for you to play football these days. There is no home and away again. Even in the Nigerian Premier League now, it's now showing there is no home match again. There is no away match. Anybody can beat you anywhere. So it's going to be difficult for you to keep that home run. You must not just rely on your personal abilities again or the abilities of your players. So many things must come to play. I don't want to mention. So many things must come to play to help you keep that home run. So I think it's going to be the most difficult for any person to surmount at this point. 9 years unbeaten run at home.
I mean, you're looking at the fact that one coach actually won 13 Premier League titles or 13 league titles. Now, Benjamin, if you look at it, doesn't it seem like that is actually the most difficult? I mean, somebody can wake up and win 3 Champions Leagues in a row, or 3 UCL titles in a row. I mean, we've seen Don Carlo actually do 2 in 3 years, so that means it's actually possible for somebody to do it. But that 13 years or 13 English Premier League titles, it needs longevity, and it's something we're not seeing in football as regards coaches staying in one club.
I think, it's quite difficult because you look at longevity in the league right now, which how many managers would want to keep, how many clubs would want to keep, what's it called, a coach for that long. That's one thing. So it's quite difficult. That record is a bit difficult to win. But if a manager like Pep Guardiola has to, stay in the Premier League for a long time, which I doubt, he might actually surpass that record from the look of things and from the way he's actually going with his business. So I think at this point in time it's quite difficult. It's going to be quite difficult. But I think the 9-year unbeaten run at home is something that is even more difficult to actually surpass. But I know one day it's possible that it can be broken. But again, I think that's going to be impossible. But that 13 Premier League titles, longevity is one thing, and clubs nowadays, even if the club wants to keep the coach for that long, would the coach want to stay? We look at Jurgen Klopp, stayed for 9 years and he actually left. He actually left the Premier League. So how many of these managers would want to stay in the club for a very long time? And how long would the club want to keep a manager for this long? So I think the only person that comes close is Pep Guardiola at this point in time. Winning 4 in a row is one of those coaches that comes very close to beating that 13 Premier League record. But I don't think the man is going to stay in the Premier League for more than 3 years coming at this point. So I think it's one difficult record to break for me.
Henry, how many Premier League titles has Pep Guardiola won in the English Premier League altogether?
Pep has 6.
6. So who says 13 is not surmountable?
He needs to stay probably for another 7 or 10 years.
Yeah, who says he cannot?
Well, I mean, the competition levels are gradually improving or increasing in the English Premier League.
He might be winning this one to make it 7.
What's the guarantee he wins this one?
Henry.
There's no Rodri this season, and we also how it affected them against Newcastle, and probably there might be more games like that.
Let's see how it goes. January transfer window, someone has been marked already to take Rodri's place, and Pep is one person that right now, I can't pick his name, but I think it's from the Italian Serie A. I saw that flash pass. I'll get his name for you, but one has already been marked, and Pep can decide to turn a John Stones into a Rodri in a twinkle of an eye. It's very possible for Pep Guardiola at the end of the day. So 7 if he gets. Who says that 6 is far away?
Okay. I want to read something for you.
Go ahead.
The longest home unbeaten streak by a Nigerian Premier League club is 202. I'm coming.
We know them.
Kano Pillars unbeaten home run. They did not lose a home game for 12 years, 63 days, until that 2-1 defeat to Nasarawa United. So Jose Mourinho 9-year home unbeaten run has been thwarted by Kano Pillars.
How many games have Kano Pillars won at home this season?
Verifiable.
Pillars Zone is a club. We're talking about a manager.
You are talking about a manager here in Jose Mourinho now, not losing a game at home for 9 years. But now, if you're looking at all these records, which one stands out for you, and which one do you think you will probably or will be so much difficult, or will be the most difficult to actually break?
Looking at them, yes, I think you just have to say it's going to be the maybe the 9 years unbeaten at home. To me, I feel that will be the most possible to beat, because as Osas already said it, Benjamin already said it, looking at how how tough the league is. Looking at how football has evolved nowadays. Now there's no home, there's no away. We saw Liverpool getting beat at Anfield by Nottingham Forest after how many years? So it just shows you how hard it is these days. The players are improving. A player can just come and just spark and just have that spark in that match. You might say you want to sit back and hold it, but it's very hard to do. The 13 Premier League titles is still possible. If Guardiola say he wants to stay for the next 10, 11 years, it's still possible if he's given the fund, if he's given the right people. We all know Guardiola, he's able to do that. The 3-peat in the US, in the UCL by Zidane, it's possible. That looks easy to do. The 4-peat in the Premier League, yes, we know how the Premier League, we know it's hard to do that, and all. Ferguson did it 3 in a row, and now looking at how Guardiola was able to do it, that means somebody might be able to break Guardiola's record. So the 4-peat doesn't look like it might even be the easiest to break there. The 51 games unbeaten all competitions by Xabi Alonso. Yeah, good run for him. We saw the Arsenal Invisibles. We are seeing the new Invisibles in the Bayer Leverkusen. So this is something that it's going to take time to do, but it's something that is doable. The most UCL wins and UCL titles. That's something that is doable. But the hardest to do will be Mourinho's 9 years unbeaten at home.
Okay, now guys, do you think the level of competition or the presence of it or the lack thereof was probably one of the major hindrances we're looking at when you're looking at all these records in football? Chooks?
I don't know. See, the competition is actually increasing. I said I'm looking at Pep Guardiola in the next 2-3 years. I think even though he's still in the City side, I think we've just been only one because of the competition levels are actually increasing. So the winning of that thing is far away from him. I don't think it's anything surmountable for by a Pep Guardiola because of you look at Arsenal are coming ever closer to the English Premier League title, and I think when that jinx is broken and Arsenal claims that title, the next thing is another team to start growing up. You're seeing the likes of Brentford. You see Chelsea also coming up in the ladder. Liverpool side is also and Slot is also a developing team that can grow. Yeah, you want to bring in a United team, but you have to do it and keep waiting until United side is not it's changed, or the management actually looks for a better coach, because you look at the quality of squad in the players in that team and say, yeah, they have a outside chance to win the Premier League if they have a good manager. And so I think, like I said earlier, even though Pep Guardiola even stays in the next 7 years, I think he should be winning like only 2 or 3 the Premier League titles, because Arsenal deserves some Premier League titles. Yeah, they have done the homework. Liverpool is that team that will not give up anytime soon. Chelsea is building a team that can match any other team strength for strength and pound for pound. So there are many factors that will worry this continuity, or worries this let's say records, because you want to say record, or number 2 say consistency in the players. You don't have those kind of A-class players that can actually dominate team again. In those days you have names of players that go for at least what the price. Neymar should not be getting. You look at Neymar with all these things. You said over 200 and something. It's the price might be outrageous. Mbappe going for 100 and something. Yeah, you look for Anthony going for over 70 million pounds. These are players that actually don't deserve this amount. Yeah, it's something that is shocking when you see the names and see the amount they are called, the weapon amount they call. So I think first of all, the players they contribute, and then the coaching staff to change in philosophy in football. There are a lot of things that actually affect this record being kept or record being broken, because I think it's not all about the coaches that actually helps, but the player have to come in, the board has to come in, and the right tactics by the coach and players implementing that tactics matters a lot.
So is it safe to say that looking at these records now, I'm coming over to you as regards this one, Ovie, that basically based on the records on how difficult or easy it is to break, that the person with probably the most difficult record based on voting or whatever is probably the biggest genius as regards the modern game of football?
Genius, I don't know. I think if you want to say genius as a manager, you have to say what you've won. Yes, being unbeaten away at home doesn't mean that you're winning your away matches. You look at You look at the managers you've called and you say who is the most successful among all of them. Maybe you want to call, maybe you say Carlo Ancelotti or maybe Pep, however you want to do it. The current the best manager, but you look at all 6 of them and you say the genius having the best record. No, I would say if you want to say who the genius is, it depends on how many titles they've won, how long they've been doing it. That consistency wherever they go, whichever club they go to, do they make their mark? Do they set their name? That's what you call the genius. Not just moving from this place to this place and then you're 14 and all. And then if you want to call a genius among someone that has done that, I think the only person that has moves is. That's done that is going to be Pep Guardiola. Every club he has gone to, he has won something in it. Mourinho too. Carlo went to Everton. He didn't win anything with Everton.
But you look at these sides and you look at the people. If you're talking about Don Carlo and Everton, you look at the size this team people have actually used. Maybe barring Xabi Alonso that used Bayer Leverkusen, they all use supposedly big sides within their period of time in doing that.
Pep Guardiola moving to Barca, yes, he was a young and inexperienced manager just coming from Barcelona. It was a gamble for Barcelona. It was either him or Mourinho, and then they picked Guardiola. He was not expected to succeed, but he succeeded. So I think that's what you call a genius, someone that is able to defy the odds, someone that is able to work with those top stars, even without being there for long. No, he came in. He won the treble with the Barcelona side. So I think maybe that's what they call a genius. Yes, you say Don Carlo didn't win anything in Everton, but 5 UCLs, that's something that you will not be able to take away from the man. The Sir Alex Ferguson, he has been in Manchester United all his life. He's the person that you see maybe give them that structure. 13 Premier League titles, that's something you're not going to be able to take away from him. But we never saw him move. We don't know if he can do it another side. Mourinho, he did it with Chelsea, he did it with Porto. So I think maybe if I was going to call geniuses, I think maybe I'll call those two, Mourinho and Pep Guardiola, in my opinion.
Now, Benjamin, let's look at these records one by one and actually look at what is probably needed and what might be the major hindrance in present or modern day football to actually make that happen. Sir Alex Ferguson, 13 Premier League titles.
I think one thing that helps Ferguson is the longevity in the club. The man has been in the club for a donkey years. That's one thing that helps. Like I said earlier, these modern day clubs, would the club give those coaches lots of time? If it is modern day, Ferguson would have been sacked before he started winning those titles, because he didn't just start winning titles when he got to United. It took him a couple of years before he started winning titles. So I think modern day clubs, would they give you the opportunity when the wins are not coming, when the trophies are not coming? That's one thing. So that's one of the reasons that Sir Alex Ferguson actually won those titles. And secondly, he had a squad that was actually willing to play for him. That's one thing. Look at the crop of players that he's got. It's about, even if, for me, I think even if you don't have world-class players, and then you've got players that plays to that basic instruction that you've given them, it's one advantage that you've got. We see the likes of, at the latter stage of Ferguson's career, so the likes of Rafael, Fabio, Anderson. Those are not the standard of United, but actually they won the Premier League title. That's because they were actually playing according to the Ferguson's instructions and Ferguson, tactical abilities and all that. So as a coach, you need to look at the strength of your team. You look at the strength and weakness of your team. You need to play according to the strength of your team. That's one thing that works for you as a coach. And if you have the control in the dressing room, that's one thing that actually worked for Ferguson. He had a couple of players that were, let's in quote, I'll say stubborn players, but he actually controlled them. He actually used them to win those laurels. So these are players that want to play for him. And secondly, longevity at the club. That's one thing for Ferguson. Then you look at the other
the next record, Jose Mourinho 9 years.
Yeah, like I said, it's one thing for players to buy into your philosophy and want to play for you. That's one thing that works for Jose Mourinho. And then the pattern at which Mourinho was actually playing with. Yeah, people will say United Mourinho's pattern is boring actually. it doesn't mean if it's boring, as long as the players that are actually playing the game, actually it works for them and keeps them going, win laurels and matches. So for Jose Mourinho, I think there's still that players that are willing to play for him. The players trust him. He trusts his players and they're willing to go and get results. So that's one thing that works for Jose Mourinho. Then for the next one is going to be the 51 games unbeaten run for
no, let's look
Xabi
at
Alonso.
Okay, let's look at Xabi Alonso before we talk about Zinedine Zidane. Or let Chooks talk about Zidane.
Okay, for Xabi Alonso, I think it's those I think the players, they were determined. The coach was actually a young coach, relatively unknown players. Yeah, we would say Jonathan Tah was an integral part of that team. Jonathan Tah has played for Bayern Munich, played for a couple of teams. So we would say but Victor Boniface, where did he come from? Coming from
Bodo Glimt.
Bodo Glimt.
No, sorry, Union
Saint Gilloise. He actually played for Glimt.
Yeah, he played for Glimt.
Yeah,
before
from
going to
Glimt.
Belgium.
So I think we're relatively unknown in terms of the German kind of game, and then these players, Reeds, Frimpong, couple of them, but these are players that were determined actually to actually work and get results from the manager, and they actually played to the ability of the managers, and it works for them, because you look at the Bayern Munich, Leverkusen setup. They haven't really won the league before now. They have not won the league. They are always, the best they could come is second. So they wanted to prove a point that yes, we could actually go all the way and win it, and not just winning it, we could win it in style, and that's what actually worked for them. And the trust was there. The manager's trust on the players, and the players actually trust the manager, and it's what works for them. So I think overall, what works for you is getting those players that would work for you, that wants to play for you. Your philosophy, if the players buy into your philosophy, your tactical abilities, they would play for you and get you the results. And another thing is longevity at the club of Ferguson. So for me, I think that's the major reason why these managers have to succeed.
Now, Chooks, let's look at Zinedine Zidane's own record as being a 3-time UCL winner, 3 times in a row. I mean, how impossible, or what factors actually affect you having such a record now? Is it just one factor that is important? Just go and coach Real Madrid and you win 3 Champions League trophies in a row.
I think it's really just coaching Real Madrid. I think, like Benjamin said, these players have to play for it. They have to actually come out to say, okay, let's play for this coaching himself. And then you look at the general, the kind of players you have in your disposal. You have winning players that can turn games around on their head. You have players that any day, anytime, they will change the fortunes of the games. And when you have a Ronaldo, you have a Bale, you have Benzema. So when one didn't turn up, the other can carry the team on their shoulders. So you look at the midfield battle, you have a Modric, you have a Cruz, and you have a Casemiro. So first of all, the bunch of players in that team was so superb that any team that didn't win at least a trophy with that team is supposed to be questioned, number one. Then players willing to win, say something to win, something to continue to win. When you have won once, you feel relaxed. Okay, I've done that stuff. But the continuity, the motivation, that's what you look at how they ask Pep when he won the first title. You was like, how do you keep motivating this player? Because it's not easy to continue winning or continue dominating when you have won it the first, second, third time. You are seeing players that once they win a trophy, they want to just change the gears or change the environment to go and test other water. So I think the philosophy is number one. The number two is going to be bringing that coaching management. See, your players have to love you as a coach, number one. Then you must bring in a game-changing team that, see, at the take of your eyes, you see Ronaldo at some points, you just take up the team scoring hat-tricks upon hat-tricks and making the team qualified. Remember that I think that was when he was in Juventus. Okay, that was when he did that stuff with them. Diego Simeone. You look at the one who was when he scored it's Wolfsburg. There are a lot of teams that he did that comeback with, and you're going to wonder, this man is the man with a winning mentality. Apart from the coach himself, the Ronaldo in that dressing room can command the players to turn up any day, anytime. And so even though Ronaldo does not turn up, you have other teams. The midfield can create chances for fun, And so I think it's a lot that comes with it. Like I said earlier in the first one, I said, say something is wrong with this football. It's now becoming more technical and more of a talent. See, now you see Anthony going for huge sum of amount of money, but those days, yeah, I don't think you actually get it at that point, or you take it at that favorable point. Nobody wants to buy a Neymar for over 100 and 200 and something. Mbappe, even as you are good as Ronaldo was so superb. We talk about it in the class of Mbappe, then moving from Monaco to PSG, but he wasn't bought at that outrageous amount. So you see players that use their play for the fun of the game and actually possesses that talent to command that figure. But these days, any player can go for any amount of money. Rogers went for over £30 million. Jackson over £30 million. But those days, the values were worth it. And so I think it's something that it's changing. It's more of technical now. And if a coach cannot win or cannot command these players to win, then the players will just be flat. And I think it's rare we see players that comes or turn up in this kind of games again and change the whole philosophy of change the whole out game of the games and change that game from the losing game to becoming a winning game. So it's the players, the philosophy, the management, and I think now down to the board itself.
Okay, 0817 0000951, 0817 0000951, and 0810 9510951, 0810 9510951. Those are the phone lines, and they are open for you to call in and air your thoughts. Which of these records do you think will be easier or won't be easy to break as regards modern day football? And do you think any of them can even be broken at all? That is Sir Alex Ferguson's 13 Premier League titles, Jose Mourinho's 9-game unbeaten run at home, Zinedine Zidane's 3-peat UEFA Champions League trophies. That's winning 3 UEFA Champions League trophies in a row. Same for Pep Guardiola, but his own has to do with the English Premier League, winning 4 EPL titles in a row. And also Xabi Alonso's 51-game unbeaten in all competitions last season with Bayer Leverkusen. And also for Don Carlo, the most UCL titles with 5, and he also has the most UCL wins. 0817 0000951 and 0810 9510951. We also have the SMS and WhatsApp portal, and that one is 0701 933 9962, 0701 933 9962. Well, Liverpool up against Crystal Palace, and Liverpool are still leading by a goal to nothing. That game is in injury time. Benjamin, you've had your eyes on the game so far, and what has actually been happening this second half? What has been your take from the game?
I think since Alisson Baker was injured and then Jarrod came in, the game has been Crystal Palace actually knocking on the door of Liverpool, and the young goalkeeper has actually made couple of saves, and at the end of the day, the game is done. Liverpool missed a couple of chances. I think that decision making later in the game has been very poor. Diego Jota making those mistakes, and Cody Gakpo not firing those shots on target. But at the end of the day, it's 1-0, 0-1 to Liverpool at Selhurst Park. Early kickoff, Liverpool has won this one. We are now looking up to the 3 o'clock hour. They are top of the table with 18 points out of possible 21 points. Second to Manchester City, Arsenal on third. So it's about those both teams actually doing the business of the day. Liverpool has done theirs. It's left for Arsenal, Manchester City. They play by 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock hour. So let's see if they could do their own business. And at this stage of the season, nobody expected Ancelotti to do what he's actually doing, but he's seated on top of the table. Let's hope he's not just a pretender, but let's hope that Liverpool is one of those title contenders this season.
Okay, are Liverpool one of those title contenders this season? You can also call in to air your thoughts as regards that, or you can send them to the SMS on WhatsApp portal. They have beaten Crystal Palace 1-0 at Selhurst Park. So it's 9 out of 10 games for Arne Slot, the first Liverpool manager to win his first 9, or to win 9 out of his first 10 games. So do you think you say the sky is the limit for Arne Slot's Liverpool this season? 0817 0000951 and 0810 9510951, and also the record set. Which of those records do you think will actually be so difficult to, will you say, break or replicate in world football? Now let's talk a bit about Paul Pogba. Well, now, Paul Pogba, if you are not aware, talking about the man, his 4-year ban for a doping offense has been reduced to 18 months following a successful appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sports. Now, sources close to the 31-year-old Juventus midfielder did say that he can resume training in January 2025 and will be eligible to play again from March. Now, at France International, Pogba was suspended by Italy's National Anti-Doping Tribunal, NADO, in February after a drug test found elevated levels of testosterone, a hormone that increases endurance in his system. Now, CAS Director General Matteo Reb confirmed to Reuters the ban had been reduced 18 months from September 11, 2023. Now, in a statement, Pogba says, and I quote, "Finally, the nightmare is over. I can look forward to the day when I can follow my dreams again. I always stated that I never knowingly breached World Anti-Doping Agency regulations when I took nutritional supplements prescribed to me by a doctor, which does not affect or enhance the performance of male athletes. I play with integrity, and although I must accept that this is a strict liability offense, I want to place on record my thanks to the Court of Arbitration for Sports judges who heard my explanation. This has been a hugely distressing period in my life because everything I have worked so hard for had been put on hold." Now, the former Manchester United midfielder Pogba took his case to CAS and gave evidence in person at a hearing earlier this summer. Now, still sticking with the man, Pogba, reports have it, according to Fabrizio Romano, that Juventus are trying to reach an agreement with the man to terminate his contract, making him available on a free transfer. So, yes, his ban has been reduced from 4 years to 18 months, but reports have it that Juventus are trying to terminate the man's contract, which will make him a free agent. Now, Benjamin, coming over to you, let's start with this. Can Paul Pogba revive his career again? Let's not forget the man or the hype, and not just hype, the whole razzmatazz around the whole man and what he was around the man and what he was doing in Juventus. Went to Manchester United, wasn't the best period then. Went to Juventus, where some people thought he could maybe find himself again, but injury never or wasn't his best friend in the second stint in Juventus. And now the whole doping thing, yes, the ban has been reduced. He can resume training in January, but I mean, is this a career that can still be resuscitated at this stage?
I don't think so. He could, at this point in time, how many countries would want Paul Pogba? That's one thing, and he's dented his image. Yeah, these are things I could remember. Liverpool player Mamadou Sakho, when Sakho won that case, but was actually transferred out of Liverpool, went to Crystal Palace, and didn't make it. That's how his career went down until we didn't hear of Mamadou Sakho anymore. You see, these are sensitive issues, and who would want to sign a player that has had his hand dented, knowingly or unknowingly? It doesn't matter. Look at players that have had issues before now. How did they end? Yeah, Benjamin Mendy went to Lorient from in France, and at some point the fans were actually the fans of Lorient didn't want him to play for the club again, and though he still continued at some point, but the career went down. Look at Mason Greenwood. Yeah, the man is still doing his thing at Olympique Marseille. We could say different. Greenwood and Benjamin Mendy are quite different. Yeah, different issues compared to that of Pogba. But I've just cited an instance of Mamadou Sakho. Yeah, I think Juventus. Yes, the Juventus they are now looking for a way to terminate the contracts because clubs don't want to be associated with such issues. That's one thing. So I think for Pogba, yeah, he will get a club, but maybe in France, yeah, but those top clubs in France wouldn't want him, so he might likely be ending up. PSG wouldn't want him, so I think he might likely be ending up in those mid-table teams for the French side. His career in the national team, I think that is done and dusted for now. So till further notice, I just think his career wouldn't be the same again. Yeah, we know Pogba for that good guy at that midfield maestro at some points. Injury not his friend. He has always had injuries records since he was at United, went to Juventus, came back to United, went back to Juventus. Injury has been an issue with him. So aside the injury, I think with what is really happening or what has happened to him, before he could get that full fitness again, start training again and get a club, I think those mid-table teams in France can only be the choice or options for him at this point in time. So I think his career is done and dusted for now.
Okay, now, Ovia, do you think it's a case of victimization, the whole issue with Juventus trying to terminate his contract? I mean, Nicolo Fagioli had the betting issuance, and nothing was actually made out of it. There were no talks of Juve actually terminating the man's contract. Sandro Tonali, Newcastle, the same issue. Ivan Toney, Brentford. So why is Paul Pogba or why are Juventus actually thinking of terminating the man's contract? Do you think it's a case of him being victimized, or we're using it as a scapegoat? Please get out of our club. We don't want you again.
First of all, those two cases are different. When you want to talk about the betting and when you want to talk about drug.
But United didn't terminate Messi Greenwood's contract.
They didn't terminate, but they were trying to find a way.
But they found a solution. They sold it, no doubt about it. But his contract wasn't terminated.
Messi Greenwood is still young. You're not just going to let him go for free. You need to at least make profit from him. Tonali is a is a pivotal person in the Newcastle squad, and then we saw him coming back, and he's already showing that impact. Messi Greenwood, yes, he had that impact there, but we already saw the pressure. Even the Manchester United women's team, they were even complaining that if they do not let Messi Greenwood go, there will be a problem. So of course they will have to find a way to let Messi Greenwood go, and they can't let him go for free. They have to find a way to sell him. They're just trying to store. They're trying to sell him. But you look at Pogba. This man is already old. Benjamin said it. His time in the French national team is over. There's no way he's going back. I honestly, it's a time of victimizing. But you look at how Juventus are doing well, and maybe the manager already says they have a new manager now, Mota. He doesn't need the man. He's fine with what he's working with. So I don't say victimized. I won't say it's a victimizing. Me too. I'm the manager of Juve, and I'm working with my squad. We saw what they did in the Champions League. Even with a red card, the man down, they still came back to still beat RB Leipzig. So I'm doing fine with what I have. I don't think I need to start bringing an old man in to start. Maybe even I'm bringing him just to show the young boys what they can do and all. But I won't see it's victimizing and terminating the man's contract, because if they are going to try and sell him, it's not going to work. Nobody's going to buy him. Yes, maybe I might think that. For me, I feel that maybe Saudi might want to come for him. It's possible. The Saudi might want to come for him, or maybe a Chinese or maybe Japanese team. But the MPFL. He could do City. Well, right now we're in need of a maestro.
Is going back to the MPFL, so
probably he should go back as maybe a coach or something. But they go show people for the MPFL. So I'm the coach of Juve. I don't think I'll stand bringing someone to start harming the chemistry I've already built up, and then again, there's always that issue in your head. Someone is linked with something with drugs. You're always thinking in the back of your head that it's something, it might happen, and you don't know what it really is, because winning even if you're guilty, you can still win a case in court. Yes, you can still win a case in court. That does not really say that you're innocent. That doesn't really prove you're really guilty. So he might have won the case in court. We don't really know what happened. He gave you explanation and all, but that is always start linking to that it might pop up again, and you don't want to be associated with that. So it's fine to let him go. Nobody's going to buy him from you. You know that. So you've already made a loss. So the fine is just terminate the contract, let him go his way, because he's just going to rot in the club if he stays there. So they are not trying to victimize him. They're just trying to find a way both parties can actually benefit from this.
Okay, now, Chooks, looking at the matter, yes, doping is something that is very sensitive now as regards the world of sports, but don't you think it's a bit too harsh on the man at this point in time? Number one, the 4-year ban, yes, it has been reduced, but the man did say it was supplements that were prescribed by a doctor, and it shouldn't have enhanced or done anything to enhance or improve his performance. But, the man was, you could actually say the man was a victim of maybe you say the doctor's negligence in a case like this, because I mean, as much as you say athletes should be aware, when your doctor prescribes something for you, the doctor should also be aware of what is banned and what is not banned. So I mean, you feel the man has just been maybe you say scapegoat, or let's use him to make an example, because when was the last time any footballer was actually caught for doping? Actually, the most we could remember is one or two taking hard drugs and actually facing a year ban. The former Peruvian captain, Paulo Guerrero, it's a typical example, taking a hard drug and actually facing a ban for a year. But Drogba, beg your pardon, Pogba was doping on, will you say unintentional doping, because the doctor actually prescribed. So do you think that everything surrounding or everything that's been happening to this man as regards all these things is just unfair? Or and as a result of, Pogba has never really been the most liked character, especially after his stint at Manchester United. Do you think that is the ripple effect of that that's actually playing on the man?
I don't think so. I think everything I've said, or you said negligence, I think that should be the first thing that would be the first excuse as to why that happened. But looking at the man generally, the man has not been that favorable character, like you said. The man has not been that star boy again since he left Juventus. And looking at that, the same team, yeah, you say your doctor have to actually know what is banned by the sporting federations, right? Sporting world of football, because now you know that this and this should not be taken for a footballer who is still active. But see, it can't be blamed. It can't be actually begin to look at whose fault or whose fault. No, it seems that they saw the substance there, and what they did is that they took the action. And taking the action means Boba should actually serve a ban, and I think it's him coming back earlier. That's the means that they actually acknowledge that that was a mistake, but in his own end, or maybe he won the case. I don't know how they do it, but see, generally speaking, you can't stop doping. Most likely, I don't think it's actually easy to stop doping, because it's everywhere. How do you, like saying to stop racism? It's going to be extremely hard to do that, because see, there are many characters that are in this world. So most likely, you have sometimes where this might be a mistake, negligence might set in, or more purposefully use this. But for Pogba case, see, I don't think it's going to be a very hard thing for Juventus to do, or for a player or a club to buy. I think it's going to be even an easy buy for players. If you look at the Mason Greenwood's case, Mason Greenwood's case is that it's even easy, because now he's a player who has that talent. He has that charisma around him. The same thing for Pogba. Pogba is that anything you want to rush Pogba now, anything. See, there's something that's called you being not guilty by the court. When you are pronounced not guilty, yeah, even at the stigma will be hanging around you. But see, that feeling that you're not guilty means that you're actually a free man. So Pogba right now is already serving his ban. So by the end of May 2025, he should be free to do whatever he wants to do in football. So most likely a club who wants to beef up their midfield, Pogba is the answer. It's as simple as that.
Okay, so you still feel the man can play at the top level, and he still has something to offer at the top level in football?
How many midfielders can be better than Pogba in the game of football right now?
Ask yourself, how long has Pogba
played football? I'm not how long. How many midfielders can we call right now that are better than Pogba? It's a simple question.
Lots of midfielders are better than Pogba.
Who?
Lots of them.
Pogba left leg, whatever he's doing now, Pogba did it in his age of 18, 19 years. What I say, Pogba is Palmer.
See, listen.
See, I'm talking about how many midfielders right now. Palmer. What are we talking about?
Bruno. See, what we are saying
just started
I'm not saying. See,
listen, what we are saying is Pogba has not even started training. Now,
Greenwood.
How
long was Greenwood on the sideline?
You wait until he has been on ban for how long now?
Since earlier this year.
Yes. Okay, let's say since January. We are already in the 11th month. You now wait for another January. That's when you start training. It has to take you at least 3 to 4 months before you get to full fitness. That's one thing.
As first of all, it's actually me. He actually going to return to football
now.
At least.
Yes, I'm saying he starts training by January.
Normally,
that's a year is gone. May is how many? So it takes you from January to May to get to full fitness.
You'll be eligible to play by March.
March, yeah.
So it takes you that long to get to full fitness. In fact, that's if you train morning and evening, because you've left football for a year plus. Which top team would give you that patience? That's the question you're asking. So a mid-table team would come for you because they've already, at that point in time, what are they fighting for? Stay in the league, don't be relegated. But the top teams, they won't even give you that time to start. Give me more time to train. Even when players are injured, they go and look for an alternative. Man City are looking for an alternative right now for Rodri. So assuming Paul Pogba goes to Man City after his ban is done, will Pep Guardiola give you that much time to start looking for your fitness? No. So that's what we are saying.
See, first of all,
a mid-table team will be that team for you to go and start up again.
Which is, I don't understand. What's the comparison of a mid-table team? Marseille is not a big team. Greenwood out of football for how many years?
Is Marseille a big team in France?
Is Marseille not a big team in France?
Marseille is a big team.
It's a big team. It's a big name.
So Marseille is a big team in France. How long?
Even in the Champions League, they are a big team.
When last did Marseille win the league?
The question is this: are they the big team in France? Yes, obviously, because of the money
that's last do they win?
Is United a big team in Premier League?
The Ligue 1.
Is United a big team?
So you look at
is
those
Arsenal a big team? I'm asking the question. Is Arsenal a big team? So when does Arsenal win a Premier League?
Allow me.
It's a question.
Finish. It's the performance that makes you a big team.
Marseille has been a performance. Good team. Pep Guardiola. When last they entered the quarterfinals of Champions League? Well, I think is it Marseille that was knocked out by Man City? Or I'm trying to confuse it. I think it's around 3-4 years ago that Marseille actually
is Lyon. You're talking about.
Lyon. I know that was
Marseille. When it comes to European football, Marseille is out of it. When it comes to when it comes to La Ligue, when it comes to Ligue 1, Marseille has lost it a long time ago. And you look at the coach that is there actually, Roberto De Zerbi. He's been in the Premier League. He knows this man, so he took him, and it's a gamble. See, France has been. With all due respect to Ligue 1, France has been that team that has always been a dumping ground for players that has had issues. Let's go.
So you feel that's where Pogba. So you feel that's where Pogba.
That is the only place that Pogba will get a club.
I said Pogba will go to club in the Premier League. Even Man City can come.
Now you look at Mason Greenwood. He's gone to Marseille, France. Look at Benjamin Mendy, Lorient, France. You look at what's his name? My memory will fail me. Mamoudou Sakho. After his Crystal Palace days, he went back to France, I think. So
he was in Montpellier.
Yeah, so France has been a dumping ground for this. So
I am saying
these are
players as much as they are, even as much as they are, you can't question the fact that Pogba is a permanent player. He's a worthy player, for Christ's sake. What Pogba has done in football, partnership with Kante in the 2018 World Cup. It's not.
We are talking about your current fitness now.
That's what we actually clamor for.
What is class is permanent?
Form is temporary and class is permanent. So telling me a Pama will get a Pogba shoes. Is that telling me? Or is it Declan Rice who has not even seen half of what Pogba has played? Or you want to call a Bruno Fernandes? What
Pogba has done is in the past. Right now, any club that would want you would have to be patient enough for your fitness level, first of all.
But it will not.
But you're talking about the fact that, let's just say he doesn't start playing even from March, but he's fit enough, and by July he gets a club. So you're talking about January, February, March, April, May, June. That's 6 months to train. I mean, before the 1990 World Cup, Maradona was forced to be fit in about 4 to it was it 4 to 6 weeks. Yes,
now,
he single-handedly carried Argentina to that World Cup finals.
You look at Maradona. We are talking about Maradona here. It's like a Roberto Baggio in the Italian national team. They would want to rush you because they know your worth. You're a classy player. Right now,
so Pogba isn't a classy player.
Right now, see, I'm coming. Right now, you look at the French national team. The era of Pogba is gone.
But we were talking about the fact that France. We are talking about the fact that France was struggling creatively because of Pogba wasn't available.
Yes, no doubt. But will France call Pogba again? The answer is no.
Big yes. The champ will call Pogba anytime, any day. See, Griezmann is out of this national team right now. If you don't know, he will call Pogba anytime, any day. If Pogba picks a team that is worthy of going to be getting a first 11 shirt at least for the next 11 months, Pogba will go to the national team any day, even to the World Cup. Pogba that can create. See, Pogba eyes for pass is as you compare him with De Bruyne. That's even we talk about what the comparison.
Maybe United will sign for Pogba.
If United will come back to Pogba, I will give Bruno for Pogba. I'm telling you.
Only you talk, only you laugh.
No, it's as serious as that. I'll give Bruno for a Pogba. I don't understand this. First of all, the composure when it's with the ball. The creativity when it's with the ball.
No doubt this man is a classy player when he was at his peak. But you ask yourself several questions. The question the message I'm trying to pass is, this man hasn't played football for a long time. That's one thing. You ask yourself, can he still be that Paul Pogba that he used to be?
And I'm asking
that's the second question.
But isn't this
psychologically? One thing is having a ban. One thing is what this ban does to you. It disturbs you psychologically.
But wouldn't the man have enough time to put his thoughts or recollect himself psychologically? Because he could have about 6 months plus.
It's not everybody that remains the same again. It's like having an ACL injury coming out for a year when you've not played football. It's not every player that comes out to become that player they used to be before they had that ACL. That's what leaving football for a year plus does to you. Remember the ban was he shouldn't start training. He shouldn't even train. He shouldn't get to any football related. So he has not even started kicking football for a year plus.
Are you actually telling me that Pogba will not be training personally?
Did you see the condition of the ban?
Well, he must not touch a football. It's not a football. Pogba can run. Pogba can jog.
There is difference between. Listen,
it's keeping fit. You're talking about.
Okay, let's actually get to the phone lines and actually get to hear from our callers as regards this whole issue, the records to be broken, and also Paul Pogba. Do you think the man can still play at the top level, and do you think his career isn't over, that he still has something to offer with the fact that his ban has been reduced from 4 years to 18 months? Zero 0817-0000951, 0817-0000951, and 0810-9510951, 0810-9510951. I mean, do you think Paul Pogba still has a future in football? The fact that the man's ban or doping ban has been reduced from 4 years to 18 months, and you think he can still play at the top level, or probably maybe Saudi or the Middle East, the Far East could be an option for him? Just go there, cash out, and make the money. 0817-0000951 and 0810-9510951. We also have the SMS and WhatsApp portal, and that one is 0701-933-9962, 0701-933-9962. Hello? Okay, we lost that one, a drop call situation. Do well to keep the calls coming in. 0817 0000951 and 0810 9510951. Well, let's run through some of the results across the major leagues in Europe at this point in time. And now from the English Premier League, you are very much aware that Liverpool have defeated Crystal Palace by a goal to nothing at Selhurst Park. By 3 p.m. we will have Arsenal host Southampton, while Brentford will welcome Wolverhampton Wanderers. Leicester City will host Bournemouth, while Manchester City welcome Fulham to the Etihad. West Ham, who are looking for their first win or looking for a win in 4 games, are hosting newly promoted Ipswich Town. And while by 5:30 p.m. we will have Everton take on Newcastle United. In the French League on by 4 o'clock, we will have Saint-Etienne take on Auxerre. By 4 p.m. as well, or by 6 p.m., beg your pardon, we'll have Lille take on Toulouse, while Stade Rennais will host Monaco by 8 p.m. While in the German Bundesliga, we currently have Bayer Leverkusen leading Holstein Kiel by 2-0. Victor Boniface on the score sheet there, while Bochum are currently losing by 1-0 to VfL Wolfsburg. Union Berlin are currently playing out a goalless draw with Borussia Dortmund, while Werder Bremen are currently playing out a goalless draw with SC Freiburg. By 5:30 p.m. we have St. Pauli take on Mainz 05 in the Italian Serie A. We have Udinese up against Lecce. While by 5 p.m. and that game is currently goalless and is at halftime. Beg your pardon. Udinese against Lecce is currently goalless and at halftime. While by 5 p.m. we have Atalanta take on Genoa, and by 7:45 we'll have Inter Milan take on Torino. In the Spanish La Liga, we have Espanyol up against Mallorca. That game, Espanyol is leading by 2-1 and is in injury time, 90+4 at this point in time. So Espanyol 2, Mallorca 1. And while by 3:15 we have Getafe up against Osasuna, and 5:30 we have Las Palmas up against Celta Vigo. By 5:30 as well, we'll have Valladolid up against Rayo Vallecano, and by 8 p.m. we'll have Real Madrid up against Villarreal. And that's it as regards the major fixtures in Europe this afternoon. Yeah, so do well to keep the calls coming in. 0817 00 00951 and 0810 9510 We'll be heading over to the election room by 3 p.m. to actually get to give you election updates. But before we do go there, please do well to call in to air your thoughts as regards everything we've discussed on. It will actually be very difficult to break as regards the footballing world and modern day football. And what do you think is actually prevalent in modern day football that will make it so difficult to break? And also took a look at Paul Pogba. The man's ban has been reduced from 4 years to 18. Just try and make more money and just try and enjoy yourself playing football at this point in time. 0817 00 00951 and 0810 9510 951. Okay, yeah, we do have the 3 o'clock fixtures in the English Premier League on our screens and about to kick off. We're seeing Manchester City getting ready to walk out in your game against Fulham, and Arsenal will be taking on Southampton by 3 p.m. Now, Benjamin, Liverpool have won, and as much as people say it's early days, it looks like the title race has started already. City will be playing Fulham, who have been fantastic. They've not lost in their last 5 games, and they are playing against the Fulham side that's in form and without their main talisman in the middle of the park as regards the anchor in Rodri. I mean, how do you see this game panning out, Manchester City against Fulham? And do you think, or do you still believe Rodri's absence will still be a factor or a hindrance or a problem for them in this game, or you just see City strolling to a victory here today?
I think City will stroll to a victory this game. Yeah, the fact that Liverpool has won, Arsenal are playing at the same time, same kickoff, 3 p.m. kickoff with City, and Arsenal are playing a lesser opponent in at the South Coast. That's Southampton at St. Mary's. So I think City would want to win this, and they are going to win this comfortably for me. Yeah, Fulham poses a threat as usual. Fulham would want to show their resilience and because they've not lost in the past 5 games, but again, I think City would show their dominance and go through this, win this one comfortably.
For me, I beg to differ from Benjamin. The stroll part, the comfortable win part for this Manchester City. Yes, it's Manchester City. They always started as the favourites, but then you have to just look at Manchester City over the past few games, the past 5 games that they have had. Manchester City have conceded in all their games, so you know that this is not easy for them. We saw the last match against even the match they had in the Champions League against who did they play?
Slovan Bratislava.
Slovan Bratislava.
They didn't concede.
Yes, they didn't concede, but that was 4 goals to 5 goals.
4 goals.
4 goals. So that's just that was there, but they struggled in the first half. It was the second half that the goals now started coming. The goals started pouring in. You look at how they've been in the Premier League. Yes, they've been doing fine. Their match against Arsenal, they considered 2 goals. So far, it's just like as if everything is just pouring in. All the goals are just pouring in. So against the side like Fulham that have been unbeaten, it's going to be tough for them. And Fulham have always found a way to score. You look at Emil Smith Rowe coming into that new scene. He has been doing extremely well for them. Look at their Man City's match against Newcastle. Newcastle could have gotten away with something. Just Newcastle just didn't finish the game right. Look at Manchester City's match against Watford in the FA Cup, in the Carabao Cup. 2-1, yes, they won the match, but they still considered one, and it was still tough for them. The match against Arsenal, that was the highlight of the season. They could have lost that match if not for divine intervention for them. So they've been struggling so far for Manchester City, and then I don't think Fulham. You look at the opponents that Fulham have faced. Fulham beat Newcastle. I think maybe that's their biggest win this season, beating Newcastle 3-1. They drew with West Ham, they drew with Ipswich. Those are matches that you see. Yes, you are expected to. They are strong and they know how to score. So for me, even if Man City are going to win, it's going to be a tough one for them. And there's always that slight thing in the air that Fulham might be able to walk away with something going into Etihad today.
Okay, now let's run through the starting lineup for the Manchester City Fulham game, and I'll also give you the starting lineup from the Arsenal Southampton game. For Manchester City, they are lined up in a 4-2-3-1 formation. We have Ederson in goal. The former backline, we have Rico Lewis at right back, Manuel Akonji and Ruben Diaz as the centre backs, while Josko Varjo is the left back. For the 2 men in front of them, we have Mateo Kovacic and OK Gundogan, while the 3 men behind the lone striker, who is Erling Brot Haaland. We have Bernardo Silva from the right field, Foden down the middle, and Jack Grealish from the left. While for Fulham in a 4-2-3-1 formation as well, Bernard Leno is in goal. From right to left, we have Kenny Tete, Joachim Anderson, Calvin Bassey, and Anthony Robinson, while the 2 men in front of them are Sander Berg and Sasa Lukic. And the 3 men behind Raul Jimenez, who is the lone striker, are Alex Iwobi from the left, Andreas Pereira down the middle, and Adama Traore from the right. And we'll actually get to give you the starting lineup of the Arsenal versus Southampton game. And while that loads, it is here now. Arsenal lining up in a 4-3-3 formation. We have David Raya in goal, Thomas Partey playing as a right back, William Saliba, Gabriel as a centre back, and Ricardo Caliofori playing at left back. While the 3-man midfield, we have Jorginho, Declan Rice, and Kai Havertz behind the 3-man forward line, which comprises of Raheem Sterling from the left, Bukayo Saka from the right, and Gabriel Jesus down the middle. For Southampton is Aaron Ramsdale in goal. They are lined up in a 3-4-2-1 formation. Aaron Ramsdale in goal, Taylor Howard-Bellis, Jan Bednarek, and Robert Manning as the centre backs. While in the midfield we have Sugawara from the right back, the Japanese right back, Phil Downs, and Joe Aribo and Kyle Walker-Peters also making up the 4-man midfield. While up front behind the striker, who is Stewart, we have Diblin and Mateus Fernandes. 0817 0000951 and 0810 9510951. Do want to keep the calls coming in and air your thoughts as regards everything we've discussed on the show this afternoon. Well, we do have the game between Manchester City and Fulham on our screens. Benjamin, you've been watching that one and seeing what's happening. I mean, walk us through what has happened or has happened so far. It's just early minutes or moments in that game, but how do you see this game shaping up at the moment?
It's been Manchester City actually having chunk of the opportunity so far. Ika Gundogan getting his shots wide. Now the turn of Erling Haaland getting his shots just inch wide from the post. I think it's City that has actually been pressing Fulham. Fulham a bit resilient at this point in time, playing out from the back, but come on again. City has forced Fulham to play those long balls and then, get the balls and press Fulham when they lose the ball. So I think it's been a one-way traffic at this point in time. It's been
Manchester City nil, Fulham nil. The game in the English Premier League. Also, Brentford have taken the lead against
1-1.
It's not
Wolves 1.
Okay.
And West Ham has taken the lead 4 o'clock. It's West Ham 1, Ipswich Town 0.
Okay, we actually confirmed to you the goal scorers from this Premier League ball. You have heard it and you've heard right. Brentford 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. For Brentford, the man who put the ball into the back of the net was Nathan Collins, while for Wolverhampton Wanderers, it was Mateus Cunha who actually equalized for the Wolverhampton Wanderers side. While for West Ham United, the man putting the ball into the back of the net, or the man who put the ball into the back of the net, is Mikel Antonio. Yes, the man has scored for West Ham. That game currently on our screens as well, and we are looking at it as Ipswich are trying to build an attack with Omari Hutchinson winning a corner of Lucas Paqueta for that one. And in other senses, Arsenal still playing out a goalless draw, as well as the game between Leicester City and Bournemouth, and the other game between Manchester City and Fulham in the English Premier League. So it's currently, we currently have goals in